What are you keeping in your family? Right? What are you not keeping in your family? Let's put it like that. Let me just give you an, if you're the best cook in your family, do you want to go to your grave with those cooking secrets? Or are you going to be the best cook and teach everyone else in the family how to cook? Right? If you're the only happily married couple in your family, why are you not explaining your secrets of your marriage to other people in your family? See, that's your legacy, right? We hold on to stuff and we really shouldn't. We need to, especially in the family, we want to keep it in the family. If you're the only guy or gal in your family that owns a ton of real estate and you're killing it in real estate, but you never share those secrets with your family, you could take it to the grave. Well, you're not winning there, you're losing. Your family's losing, your legacy's losing, right? Keep it in the family. It's really about your name. Okay. Welcome to the podcast. Troy Shorts here with Wealth Strategies to Value. Hope everyone's having a great summer. And today we're going to talk about legacy. Legacy is very, very important. And it's just something that has been on my heart. And I wanted to share it with my viewers, my podcast listeners. The quote of the day is simply this: the goal isn't to live forever. The goal is to create something that will live forever. That's legacy. There's power in your name. There's power in your name. Let me give you an example of what I mean. McDonald's, Chrysler, Dell, Gucci, Harley Davidson. These are all names of families, right? Honda, Marriott, Hilton. How about this one? Rolls Royce, right? Charles Rolls and Henry Royce, right? Wells Fargo, Henry Wells and William Fargo. They're banks, right? These are family names. There's power in your name. These are not just products and services that we purchase every day, but these are family names. There's power in your name. What's the legacy for you and your family? Stop trying to make your first name rich and start making your last name wealthy. The Rockefellers, right? Has anyone ever heard of the Rockefeller formula? Well, this is something that you can Google, and it really talks about legacy. It talks about how the Rockefellers strategically, intentionally put systems in place to keep money in their family, keeping it in the family from one generation to the next generation, keeping their wealth away from the Internal Revenue Service, keeping their wealth away from Wall Street, keeping their wealth away from fees and taxes and risk, right? It's called the Rockefeller method. Please, if you get a minute, Google it. If it works for the Rockefellers, guess what? It works for the Joneses, all right? So your first name is about you, but your last name is about us. So what are you doing intentionally to make your last name great, to make your last name have a lasting legacy? We're all going to die. We're all going to leave here, right, at some point. And what are people going to be saying about you and your legacy? All right. Legacy is what you pass down. Legacy is your footprint, your contribution to the world. Legacy is about how you impact the people and the world around you. Excuse me. Here's a question. If today was the last day on earth for you, what would be your legacy? If today was the last day here on earth, what would your legacy be? If today was the last day on earth, how would your legacy be transferred to the next generation? Legacy needs to be looked at in a few different ways. First of all, we all have a family legacy, right? We have a faith legacy, right? What we believe in, right? We have a financial legacy, right? are your affairs in order? If today was the last day, am I leaving a bunch of people in debt? Uh, if I'm married, do I have enough resources if I'm not here to maintain my income? Do I have, debt that needs to be paid for? These are the things that are a part of your legacy. So what you do today, every single day, is affecting your legacy in every area, your faith, your family. How about your health, right? How about the things you like to do, your hobbies, right? The things you like to do for fun, right? You have a legacy, right? When I was 5 years old, my grandfather took me fishing, right? That was a legacy. He taught me how to fish, right? And now I'm teaching my kids how to fish, right? It's passed down, right? It's legacy. Every single family, I don't care. Every single family has issues, right? They have good things and they have bad things, but you've heard of the word generational curses, right? Well, some of us have inherited generational curses. See, we've received a legacy that sometimes is not good. We have families with legacies of addiction, drug abuse, alcoholism, right? That stuff is passed down. We have spousal abuse, right? We have child abuse. Those things are legacies. They're passed down from the one generation to the next. Poverty, right? Mental and physical abuse, mental disorders, bad credit. How about that, right? How about just bad stewardship? We learn these lessons from our parents, our grandparents, our great grandparents. So the fact of the matter is, some of us may actually be paying the price today for things that our fathers and grandfathers failed to handle, right? See, at some point, you have to look yourself in the mirror and say, you know what? The buck stops here with me. From this day forward, I'm going to make a positive change. I'm going to deal with those issues. I'm not going to kick the can down the road. And the problem with a lot of people, the reason our grandparents and parents didn't deal with a lot of those things is because they were not thinking about legacy. They were thinking about their first name and not their last name, right? So it's our responsibility now that we know better. If there's things in our lives that are going on like that, guess what? We got to stand up and take a stand and say, hey, listen, no longer will this affect the Shorts, my last name. We're going to build from here on. We're going to rewrite the script. Right? We're going to put our family in a different stratosphere. So this is my talk today. This is what's on my heart today. This is going to affect every single person. So I know that when you and I die, at some point we're going to die, and our family is going to say one of two things. Our family is going to say, you know what? Thank you very much for what you left me. Thank you for that legacy. Or the second statement is they're going to say, why in the heck did you do this to me? Why did you leave me in this situation, right? Well, that's not what we want to hear. But now it's not too late because we can take control of our legacy, right? Let me just talk a little bit about me personally, my family, and legacy. These are the things that come to my brain. Like my grandmother would make the most amazing pumpkin and sweet potato pies in the fall, right? It was football season, Thanksgiving, and what she did before she died was she passed the recipe on to my cousin. So now, instead of us going to the store and buying pumpkin pies and sweet potato, guess what? My cousin makes the pies. It's a legacy. It's in the family. It stayed in the family. All right. I can think about my dad. I'm thinking about food. I must be hungry. But my dad is notorious for making this amazing gravy for Thanksgiving from scratch. Well, guess what? I said to myself, Dad, I need that recipe. I need to keep that gravy in the family, right? Another example is my mother. You know, she's my business partner as well. And one of the things that I can tell you that my mother gave me is effort, stick-to-itiveness, never giving up. That was my mother. And that's one of the things that she passed to me. That's her legacy, right? She passed it down. So my question to you is, what are you keeping in your family? Right? What are you not keeping in your family? Let's put it like that. Let me just give you an example. If you're the best cook in your family, do you want to go to your grave with those cooking secrets? Or are you going to be the best cook and teach everyone else in the family how to cook? Right? If you're the only happily married couple in your family, why are you not explaining your secrets of your marriage to other people in your family? See, that's your legacy, right? We hold on to stuff and we really shouldn't. We need to, especially in the family, you want to keep it in the family. If you're the only guy or gal in your family that owns a ton of real estate and you're killing it in real estate, but you never share those secrets with your family, you could take it to the grave. Well, you're not winning there. You're losing. Your family's losing. Your legacy's losing, right? Keep it in the family. It's really about your name, okay? How about your health and fitness? I mean, if you're the only person in your family that's healthy, that eats right, that exercises, right? You need to share that with the people you love, right? Don't keep it to yourself, right? So what is it that you're keeping in your family intentionally? So I'm talking about legacy today, but I also want to talk about intentional legacy. And I'm saying this because I've talked to some people and they say, you know what, Troy, I don't really care about legacy. Troy, listen, my family doesn't even love me. They don't really care about me. And, I'm not married. I don't have a spouse. I don't have kids. So Troy, why should I even care? Who really cares about legacy? I don't really care. Why do I need to think about legacy, Troy? Well, guess what? The fact of the matter is simple. The fact of the matter is this. Every single person is going to leave a legacy, whether they know it or not. Because guess what? You received a legacy. It may not have been monetarily, but you received a legacy. And you will also leave a legacy. All right? So the question is this: are you going to be intentional about the legacy that you leave? Or are you just going to let any old thing just be passed down to the next generation? So even though you don't have a family per se, every interaction that you have with a person, you're making a deposit or you're making a withdrawal. All of those deposits are legacy. Like, I think about my mother. She was a school teacher. She taught for 26 years. She interacted with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of students. Well, she deposited into those children. She left a legacy, right? So the people that you interact with on your job, right? The people in your social network, that's legacy, right? So you have to make sure that you're leaving the legacy that you want to leave. You want to be intentional about your legacy. I'm thinking about some individuals that just came to my head that when I think about legacy, I think about is Oprah Winfrey. Now, Oprah doesn't have a husband, I don't think. No, she doesn't have a husband. She doesn't have children, right? But let me tell you, Oprah has a legacy. She's done things that no one else has done. She's given money to people. She's built schools. She's written books. She's educated people. gotten people out of bad relationships, educated people on alcoholism and drugs. And I mean, her legacy is unbelievable. It's her footprint. It's what she's deposited, not what she's withdrawn. That's why Oprah is Oprah, right? I can think of another person when I think of legacy. This is just me personally. I think of Muhammad Ali. And anybody that that's ever met him, you may not remember his record in the ring. You may not remember all his accomplishments in boxing, but guess what? Every single person that I've ever talked to that has met Muhammad Ali remembers how he made them feel. That's legacy. He made a deposit in you, right? This guy was the first guy that started predicting when he was going to knock a guy out. Like, who did that? He's the one that called himself the greatest. See, that was out of the box thinking. No one else has done that before, and no one's done it since. That's legacy, right? There's power in your name. There is power in your name. So my point is, everything that you do right now in your life is having a major impact on your legacy. And you're either making deposits or you're making withdrawals. So I want to go back to those family names that I talked about earlier. And I want to talk about how, like a story, like this is the world that I live in. So we go to Wells Fargo, right? A family name. We go to Wells Fargo and we borrow money, right? Or we get credit. And Wells Fargo then allows us to go to Porsche, which is another family name. We go and buy a Porsche, right? Go to Wells Fargo, get the money, go to Porsche, buy the car, right? Then we go on vacation and we stay at Marriott or even the Hilton. Family names, right? And then we want to go buy some nice clothes. Armani, family name. Gucci, a family name. All right. So what I see is we're buying products and services and keeping those family names rich to impress the Joneses. The Joneses are broke. Right? We're buying the Porsche to pull up to the traffic light so we can look cool for about 30 seconds. Right? But we're broke to impress a person that you will never, ever know or meet ever for the rest of your life. So these are the kinds of things that we're doing unknowingly and unnecessarily because we're trying to keep up with the Joneses, and the Joneses are broke. Every family needs to be legacy minded and be able to stop making families rich and start looking at making our own families rich. Up to this point, after listening to this podcast, you might be thinking about your legacy. And, it's not too late to turn it around. You could have had 50 years where you're all jacked up, no legacy. You could really be introspectively looking at your life and saying, man, if I looked at my faith and my family, my fitness and my hobbies and my family, they're kind of jacked up right now, right? But what I'm here to tell you is that in the next 50 days, you could change all of that. You've got the power. The power is in your name to change it all. It's our responsibility to leave the world with more than what we've taken from it. That's all I got for you guys today. Thanks for tuning in to Wealth Strategies to Value podcast, where our mission is to help our clients be wealthier, happy, and more successful for retirement. Until next time,